Folks, welcome back. Today we have to talk about the recession that apparently we are headed into. Now normally I would make a joke and laugh this off and get on with our lives, but it does seem like it is getting more and more likely we are headed into recessionary times. I've had a lot of you reach out wanting my opinion on things, and so I thought I would make a whole video covering it instead of type back to all kinds of different people. So first off, yes, we have had some of the biggest stock market drops in single days since other recessionary times in the U.S. history. Yes, we have Japan playing around with negative interest rates, and the yen is crashing and they're having all kinds of troubles, which may be starting to echo throughout other parts of the world, including the U.S., which people are speculating. We do have wars and rumors of wars happening all across the globe, which obviously destabilizes, different types of business that is done worldwide and all of that, which does obviously hurt the balance sheets of companies. And we are starting to hear more about layoffs, mostly in like the emerging market, like tech space right now, not as much in like the consumer staples or like the industries or the services that have to get done, but they are starting. And you are seeing other signs like billionaires like Warren Buffett and others start to sell off large positions of their stock holdings and pull more into cash and be sitting on cash. And all of these are kind of signs that, yeah, things are not booming the way they were, and we are kind of headed for a downturn. Now, the question really is how do you prepare for this? How do you structure yourself and your investments and your finances through this? And how do you come out on the other side better than when you went in? And the unfortunate truth is recessions are when the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And it's not just because the poor are struggling to survive. There are some people that are struggling to survive, and I guess we could label them the poor and stop right there. Our hearts need to go out to those people. And if you do know someone that's struggling, a friend or a family that lost their job or one of their jobs, or people that are having hard times, and you are stable and you're doing well, these are the times you help people in your own community. You help your people you're close to, your family, your friends, if they need that help. And so that needs to be said. So I don't really want to make it about the poor, but like the middle class, I would say, who aren't struggling to get by, but get fearful during these times. These are the times when they get poorer and the rich get richer. And there's a simple reason for that is all of those people in the middle class usually, and the more, the people who have less, they operate more on emotions, where the rich do not operate on emotions. And that is the biggest thing. If you take anything from this video, do not get emotional during these times. Do not get emotional. Keep it about the research. Keep it about what you know about the past. Keep it about the numbers. And if you make decisions based on that, usually you're going to come out better on the other side. So this is not financial advice. This is what I am doing with my own finances, my Pokemon, collectibles, investments, other investments. If you want to take anything that I said and put it to work for yourself, great. But it's not advice. Also, if you want to just leave those comments and tell me how big of an idiot I am and how, I shouldn't be even talking about this stuff because I have no idea what I'm talking about, feel free to do that too. This is the internet. That's what it's for. Hopefully, at least I provided some entertainment or, at least some fill of the silence throughout your day today if you have no interest in this at all or think I'm a complete fool. But here's what I'm going to tell you. I don't have any direct experience going through a full-on recession during Pokemon investing, right? I only started back in 2015-16 time. I was alive during, obviously 07, 08, 09. I was in high school and college. I wasn't on my own yet, but, I definitely felt the effects. I definitely saw the effects on others. And I saw what happened throughout before that, during the recession, and after the recession. And one of the things I continue to see is the people who pulled back their spending or their investing, the people who hoarded cash, people who got emotional and got scared, they were the ones that came out the other end worse off than where they were before. The people who didn't, who continued to put money into their investments, who continue to, put money into growth in their business or themselves or try to advance their career and didn't take no for an answer, those were the people who came out usually rich or much more wealthy than when they were before the recession hit. And I know it's really easy to say after the fact, and that's great because you're going into a time possibly, where you're going to be able to put this to work and see for yourself. You're going to be the person that has the experience now in 10, 20 years. When people are asking you about it, you can tell them that these things actually work, and they're not just like these imaginary things to tell people like, oh yeah, buy low, sell high. It's like, hey, you're probably going to get a chance here to buy low. Are you going to take it, is the question, because we're already seeing crypto take massive dips. I'm not even going to talk about crypto because I'm going to get all the crypto heads in here and they're going to tell me all these things about, why it's it's going to be the, thing that runs the world and how wrong I am about stuff. So look, crypto's been down a little bit. Don't know if it's going to crash. I'm just going to leave crypto where it's at. The stock market though, been in the stock market a long time. I can talk about that with some level of intelligence. I will say this. The stock market's been at all-time highs. When companies start to miss earnings and not do as well as they're projected to do, when they start having layoffs, when sales aren't where they used to be, the crash on stocks is usually a lot harder than what I believe we're going to see if a correction in booster boxes. After booster boxes are 3-4 years old, we don't see a lot of volatility on them. With stocks, you see a whole lot more volatility. However, even during some of the worst down times, mutual funds and index funds didn't see the crazy amount of volatility that single stocks did, which is why I compare sealed product more to mutual funds and S&P index funds. And so when you're asking me, Alex, what are you doing through all this? Well, first and foremost, again, not financial advice. If I had a job or I had a family where, I was in like a tech space or a job that was at risk of being laid off, or I had any fear of that, I would stop spending on anything that I didn't need, any discretionary spending. I would, hoard a little bit more cash, build my emergency fund a little more than usual, buy a little extra food to put in the freezer, things like that, just in case. Because, it's a very real worry right now. Let's be honest, we can't deny it. It's a very real worry for people, whether it comes or it doesn't come. But that was one thing I would be doing if I was in fear. If I had more of a recession-proof job, or like one of the jobs that actually does better during the recessions, I wouldn't worry about that as much. I would honestly, look for deals when it comes to investments. If your level of investing is in the stock market, in crypto, if it's in Pokemon, whatever it may be. But one of the things I will say is I myself am not changing too much. Everything you see me selling, go to my eBay store. It's basically all going to be, singles or Pokemon, graded cards. That's business as usual. I'm not dumping anything because of anything going on in the economy, recession, anything like that. It's business as usual. It's the stuff you're always going to find in my store when times are good, times are bad. You're not going to see any of my sealed product being sold. I'm not dumping anything. I am continuing to hold every single sealed product that I have, other than what I open on breaks, but I buy that product literally to open on breaks. So I really consider that more inventory and not investment. I'm running a business. I'm not just investing in this stuff. So I get it. It's a little gray area. But all of my sealed inventory, I'm not moving a bit on. In fact, I am continuing to buy when I see deals, and I will continue to buy if things do drop. And so that kind of gives you the way I feel about all this stuff. I know this is up for debate, and everyone likes to debate this topic. I'm not going to debate it. I'm just going to give you my opinion. You guys can let me know all yours in the comment section. But I truly believe over the past 9+ years I've been in this hobby, the hundreds, if not thousands of people that I've talked to on a personal level and had conversations with, right? The majority of people in this hobby are doing well financially. The majority of people have good incomes, a lot better than me. They have their investments and other things, stabilized, 401ks, Roth IRAs, own their homes, whatever, have large amounts of equity in their homes. And all their bills are more than taken care of, and they have extra money after all that's said and done to invest or speculate or collect in Pokemon, whichever word you want to say. And this idea that everyone in this hobby is surviving off credit card debt and everyone's trying to make these short-term plays, and if they aren't able to sell it in 2 to 3 months at a profit, their credit card's going to default. I think all that's BS. I personally believe the majority of people in this hobby are at a higher economic level than the average person in the U.S. Like, I think if you took the average Pokemon investor collector versus income and net worth versus the average American income and net worth, I would argue that the average in Pokemon is actually higher than the average across the nation. And so I don't think the average person in this hobby is going to be as affected as most people might think. Now, Will there be people that are affected that get scared, get emotional, like the most middle class does? They just get emotional because they get scared and they want to dump things. Yes, there will be, and that'll be opportunities for the people who aren't emotional to jump in and pick up deals at discounts. And then usually in 1, 2, 3 years when things pick back up, the stuff goes up, and then all those people will say, why did I sell? I didn't even need to. I wasn't even in a position where I had to have money, but I just got scared. And it's the same cycle over and over again. And again, you're all going to go through this together, and you're going to be able to tell people about it and the mistakes you made or the things you did right. But I mean, seeing things like Twilight Masquerade, 120 plus a box, brand new set. Seeing things like Paldea Evolved, it's going for like $900 a case, guys. $900 a case. I got laughed at. Literally laughed at and ridiculed in my own Discord for telling people that I'm investing in Paldea Evolved all in back when it was $85 a box. Everyone was saying, Alex, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Lost Origin, Silver Tempest, Brilliant Stars, Astral Radiance, they're all on Pokemon Center right now, about to sell out, $144. I would never be investing in a new set when all of these are whatever years old and they're about to sell out. The dumbest thing I ever heard. Well, you might want to start calculating your percentage gains that you would have had on Paldea and what Brilliant and Astral and Silver and Lost are all at right now and what you bought them at Pokemon Center. Because Pokemon Center, after fees and shipping and all that, I think you're doing a little worse than I'm doing on Paldea. And so seeing the strength of Scarlet Violet Era, the amount of money that pours into it, the amount of it that gets opened, and the amount of people that are holding it because they believe in it, gives me a lot of hope for the future of the hobby, how strong things are still when there is this fear of a recession coming and all of these things. But that tells me I'm just going to keep holding. If I see deals, I'm going to keep buying. It's really just business as usual. I know a lot of people hate to hear that, and they think like, oh, Alex is probably doing something behind the scenes. He's probably dumping without telling anyone. I'm just not. I mean, I don't have, everything I do is public. Like, I do my breaks public. I sell things on my public eBay and public TCG Player account. I'll be vending at Chicago Collecticon. You'll be able to publicly come and see what I'm selling there. Like, I have no reason to lie or try to pull the wool over anyone's eyes, right? I would only be hurting myself, right? I mean, if I say I'm doing one thing and do another, eventually you'll get found out. You'll be, known as like a liar all over the internet. No one's going to even listen to what you say anymore. And so I'm just telling you what I'm doing. Now, again, if things get really bad and people don't spend money, it could definitely affect my business. I am in one of those businesses that could be affected by a recession. Luckily, I feel like my wife isn't, but you never know. And so, yeah, I mean, obviously, I have more cash now than I normally do. I'm not making as risky of plays with the business as I normally would, but I'm also not selling anything. And so, if anything, if my advice to anyone out there, what I'm doing, I would say the first thing you do, if anything, is just maybe slow down the buying. Slow down the risk taking, right? Instead of putting the excess money you have into Pokemon or into investments, just keep some in cash. Keep some in cash to kind of weather the storm or to pick up deals if things do drop. But the last ditch scenario, the last thing you want to do is sell things, right? You sell things, one, if things are, appreciated to the point you want, but that's usually not in summer. That's not during the recessionary times. That's, usually during around the holidays or after the holidays when things are high, when people are spending money, when auctions are ending higher than buy it now listings. That's when you want to sell if you're wanting to sell things and move out and realize profits. You don't sell during panic or emotional times when things are down, when things aren't selling well, when auctions aren't ending high. And so the last thing you want to do right now is sell things like sealed product or other things that you may have been investing in, unless you just literally need the money, right? Lost a job, layoff, not, your bills are stacking up, whatever it may be, have debt. That's when you sell, right? I get it. Sometimes you got to sell when you don't want to do things. I've had to sell things throughout my life when I didn't want to, whether it be, stocks or other things. And it is what it is. Life happens. But if you're not in that scenario, this is my opinion, not financial advice. If I was not in a scenario where I needed money for my everyday expenses and I was worried about paying my bills, there's no reason I would ever sell anything during this because, again, what'll happen is you'll come out the other end 2, 3, 4, 5 years later and you're going to be kicking yourself when everything's double the cost as it was, because as you guys know, inflation doesn't usually go down, it only goes up, and things usually go up in price over time. You're going to be kicking yourself, and you're going to be upset that you got emotional in a time when everyone else was emotional, and you're going to be angry like everyone else gets at all the rich people who didn't get emotional. And that's why you'll continue to have this further divide. Everyone will get mad at the rich people. They own all the houses! Yeah, because they're buying them all when no one else was, right? They own all the Pokemon! Yeah, because they bought it all when you sold it all to them, right? And so that's the one thing I would caution. Don't get caught in that mess. For everyone that is doing well, though, hey, going to be a lot of sales happening. There's going to be a lot of stuff on sale, I'm sure. You'll be able to pick up great things. Look for auctions ending at weird times. If you see people, selling a lot of stuff, maybe reach out to them, say, hey, I'll buy it all for X amount of dollars. So they're probably going to let it go because they're trying to raise quick cash and they want to get rid of all of it. So there'll be a lot of money to be made for you all. And last but not least, again, I don't want to be insensitive. Anyone that is going through tough times, my heart does go out. It sucks. Life sucks sometimes. Hopefully, you have family and friends that do help. If you are one of those family and friends and you know someone going through tough times around you and you're set up and you're doing well, help a brother out, all right? Help them out. That's what we're here for, to have a sense of community, to actually help people when they can't help themselves and they're still struggling, they're trying. Help them out. Do what you can. It's obviously not going to put your own home and your own life in jeopardy, but help them to the degree that you can. And it's just being a good person, right? And so that's all I got, guys. That's my feelings on this whole thing. For me, it's business as usual. Yeah, I'd be interested to hear all of your comments in the comment section, and I'll do my best to read them and reply and give you my thoughts on it. So that's all I got. Subscribe to the channel if you're not yet. Back here in a new one soon. I'm out.